The Boise State, Venture College, and Trailhead present highlights from the Survive to Thrive series.
So when I think about diversity is an easy problem to solve, but diversity is just like the difference, right? There's dimensions of diversity, and it's the characteristics that individuals have, right? So we often think about race and gender when you hear diversity, but there's so many other dimensions. It's ability, it's age, it's socioeconomic status, it's geography, it's culture. Like there's all these different dimensions of diversity. And so maybe a decade or so ago, people started focusing on diversity. Diversity is easy to solve because it's a number, right? You can go out and hire a bunch of folks. You might have to work with your legal team, right, to make sure it's legal. And then inclusion happened because you're hiring all of this diverse population, and you were trying to squeeze them into your culture, right? And so you were trying to say they're culture fit versus the cultural add, right, that they're enhancing the culture. And so we had to come up with inclusion programs to help them feel like, right, they're welcomed at the table, right, and that they're not just tolerated, but they're valued. The main thing for organizations to be is committed, knowing what you're committed to, right? If you're committed to being anti-oppressive, right, on that continuum that Nick just referred to, and a lot of the data and the research about being these truly inclusive organizations, if you're committed to something, you're willing to get messy, right? You're willing to make mistakes. And so you see organizations like Ben & Jerry's or Salesforce or Starbucks is a great example, or SurveyMonkey, right? You have this list of these companies that don't always get it right, but you know what they're committed to. So we're willing, right, when they do make a mistake, or maybe when they don't show up in a way that you think they should, right, they're able to quickly pivot, close that gap, and changing it back on track, right? Because they have a track record of being committed. If you understand who you are, how you show up, what your perspective is, where that fear is showing up, and how that may impede you from actually leading in the space, right, that you can start to, again, disrupt. So I have fear, right? I'm hesitant in certain places. I'm worried about, something that I may say or do, what the ramifications of that may be. So fear exists, right? And so, we call them demons, right? The demons and the dragons. First, you have to be able to name them and identify them, how they show up, and how they actually may impede you being able to do the work. Be able to show up fully as an audacious leader. And a lot of this work is really around, it's a combination between the action and the somatic side, right? The somatic side is really understanding like how you are showing up in your body. Where does fear show up? How does fear, does it paralyze you from actually being able to take an action or to do anything? Do you have some healing that needs to take place? Allies started to show up as like those individuals that now at least had a little bit of a perspective. And we're trying to get allies to click up to another level. And some are calling it accomplice, and being an accomplice, we call it being audacious. And that's actually being willing not just to be aware of it, but to change, like, right, to actually be someone willing to go above and beyond and to risk, right, to risk your job or to risk many other things, right, to actually fight for what you believe is right, right? And so that's what audacious leaders do. They take risks, right? They speak real talk. They really understand where oppression shows up in the equation, and they have a will and a fortitude or a grit that helps them be anti-fragile when this is it's a VUCA environment, right? It's volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous, and they understand how to navigate that successfully.
Thanks for listening. While you're waiting for the next episode, feel free to contact us or follow us on social media.